On this AI breakdown brief, we have Slack adding new AI features, news from Microsoft and AMD around new AI chips, and of course, Snoop on how he thinks about AI. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headlines you need in 5 minutes or less. We start with what's happening all around the tech world, which is, of course, companies adapting to this new era, the new capabilities of artificial intelligence. The latest company to announce their big new AI suite is Slack. They have a whole new set of experiences that will integrate GPT natively into Slack's platform. So that might include editing messages, turning messages into emails, attending huddles on your behalf, summarizing them, and much, much more. Earlier this week, we saw new features from Box that were similarly AI integrated. And of course, last week, Dropbox announced that they were laying off 500 people as they went to develop new AI tools. Bloomberg is reporting that Microsoft is working with AMD on an expansion into AI processors. So apparently these companies are teaming up in order to offer an alternative to NVIDIA, which obviously dominates the markets for AI-focused chips. The code name for Microsoft's homegrown AI processor is Athena, but there is some question about whether AMD is actually involved. Frank Shaw, a Microsoft spokesperson, denied it, saying AMD is a great partner, however, they are not involved in Athena. Regardless of that denial, AMD's shares jumped on the possibility that they were collaborating with Microsoft on this new AI chip. Speaking of companies in AI, the information is reporting that OpenAI's losses doubled last year to $540 million in the midst of developing ChatGPT. Now, before we lose our minds on how crazy it seems to lose $500 million in a year, you have to remember, one, that OpenAI has a ton of money and that this type of heavy tech venture often loses a huge amount of money on the path to making revenue. And two, that this happened primarily before ChatGPT was available and before they started to get on a revenue run rate that is now in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I think the major thing here is just a reminder that this is an extraordinarily expensive industry to really try to compete and lead in. One piece of news from earlier in the week that I didn't really have a chance to talk about yet is what happened when Chegg talked about ChatGPT during its earnings call. Basically, the CEO of Chegg said that ChatGPT was hurting its business, it was cutting down on the number of new subscriptions, and the stock absolutely plummeted. You can see in this chart the exact moment when Chegg released its first quarter earnings and had this call, and the stock price goes from 18 down to like 9, basically a 50% loss in just a very short amount of time. Now, importantly, it wasn't just Chegg, it was a set of education-based stocks. So Pearson, which is one of the biggest education companies in the world, was down 15%. Duolingo was down 10%. Udemy was also down 5%. Effectively, people are pretty sure that ChatGPT and AI more broadly are going to have a transformative effect on education businesses, even if they don't know how. Now, one news story that we're going to get into in more depth on the main AI breakdown is the White House's meeting with AI CEOs that happened yesterday and what it suggests about the US's involvement and approach to AI. But where I want to conclude the brief is with these comments from Snoop at the Milken Institute conference yesterday. This clip has been flying around the internet as something that basically gets at exactly how confused and surprised and awed and excited, but also nervous, so many of us feel. One note, this is Snoop, so watch out for some colorful language.
Fucking AI right now that they done made for me. This nigga can talk to me. I'm like, man, this nigga can hold a real conversation. Like, for real, like, it's blowing my mind because I watched movies on this as a kid years ago when I used to see this shit, and I'm like, what is going on? Then I heard the old dude that created AI is talking about, this is not safe because the AI's got their own minds and these motherfuckers gonna start doing their own shit. I'm like, is we in a fucking movie right now or what? The fuck, man? So do I need to invest in the AI so I can have one with me or, like, do y'all know? Shit, what the fuck?
That's it for this AI News Headline Brief. See you back here soon for the main AI Breakdown.